We are live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook world. I am Jess DeBose, and I am your coach and author. And today we're going to be doing a live coaching session with the lovely Rachelle Luv Raku, and she's going to introduce herself.
Hello, gorgeous people. I'm Rachelle Luv Raku from Realign with Raku, and I am a mama mindset coach. I help move overwhelmed mums out of that overwhelm into a calm and energized, loving themselves kind of space. And I am very, very blessed to be here with Jess. And I love that she mentioned she's an author, because I forgot to ask you. I just wanted to say something to you. My two children this morning were both asking about connecting with you because they want to publish a book and they know that you have, and so they want to have a chat with you. And I was like, oh, I need to tell Jess that. It's so exciting.
Yay! I'm excited. That's awesome.
It's great. My son's been asking me. I'm like, I know exactly the person to ask. And then Talia comes out this morning and goes, Mum, I was supposed to connect with Jess. It's like, okay, we'll get it to happen.
Yeah.
Inspiring humans across the globe. You are, Jess.
Yeah, the number of people who have I wanted to write a book and now I'm going to start now. It's really cool, the ripple effect of that. I'm
Yeah,
excited to read the books of the people I've inspired to write.
it's amazing, isn't it, when you think
Yeah.
of it like that?
Yeah. Rachelle has got to be the lucky one. She got to read it before it was published.
I am indeed.
And Rachelle is in Australia, for those of you who don't know. So that's why she was talking about across the globe. And she mentioned, she's a coach for beautiful mamas, but she also has this beautiful Facebook group called the Mamahood, which is a lovely community of moms. So if you're a mom and you're watching this, I would highly encourage you to connect with that group. And I can leave the link in the comments when we're done as well.
Beautiful. It's a lot of fun. I think that's the biggest thing about motherhood, and you would experience this in your work anyway. It's just like actually being seen and being held by others, and like having a group experience where it's all about kind of lifting each other up and being the best versions of ourselves, and being okay when we're not being the best versions of ourselves, because that's part of life as well. So it's a cool space to be in, to be able to be witnessed and be exactly where you're at. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And how beautiful that Rachelle gets to be coached today,
Yes.
because coaches need coaches.
I think I feel like I will never not have a coach. Like, it's always coaching for me is, and it'll be all different areas of life, because it's kind of like I'll go at the moment I'm getting a lot of coaching around my health and my wellness, because I was like, oh, that's somewhere I can level up more. And then I know that as soon as I get on a really good par with that, it'll be like, oh, maybe I can get help in this area of life, like it's just about upgrading to the best version of yourself. And anywhere where I don't have the tools, or I'm finding repeating patterns, that I go, okay, hold on, I can't see it, because I'm a pretty resourceful, amazing human. And if I could see it, I would have done something about it by now, or gained the tool. So that's why coaching is the best for me. I'm excited and
Yeah.
a little bit nervous, I have to admit.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Perfect. I know it's a little different to get coaching live. Um, so thank you for being here. And
Like,
what do you want coaching on, or what's challenges been in your sphere lately?
it's funny, when I was thinking about it, it's definitely coaching around time. And then I posted a comment yesterday, because it was like, for me, what I teach around time, and then I'm like, and I still need help around it. And I was like, does that mean like I'm not good enough? And I was like, wow, there's a whole lot of stuff wrapped up in everything, isn't there?
For sure. Okay, so tell me more. What about time?
I think I struggle with, it's funny that I'm like looking up. I struggle with committing to time or scheduling time, and feeling like I'm either really scheduled and then I don't feel like I'm in enough flow. And then or I'll get too flowy and things get really chaotic. I feel like it's something I'm still definitely mastering, and I get to master more.
Yeah. Well, can we like pause and give yourself some celebration and credit for where you are currently? Right? You
Yes.
have 5 children, you have your own personal business, you also work part-time, you also have God knows what else going on in your world. So the fact that you are already mastering time and you are already mastering time in some capacity, that your children are getting to school and, whatever else that gets to happen. So let's celebrate that.
It's funny that I love that you reflected that back, because so often I'm like, I don't have enough. Haven't done it all right, and blah blah blah. But I actually get so much done, um, and I do get to celebrate that more. Like I do get to the end of the day and go, hey, I did all these amazing things. Like that's freaking amazing. It's just at the time I feel like, it's funny how I'm not just celebrating, and I want to add all the buts.
Yeah. So how would you like to celebrate right now?
I feel like just feeling the joy is like a beautiful thing to do. And it's crazy to like add like, yeah, it's something I don't do, is adding the joy to actually the achievements that I've already had. Um, and we were speaking about that. It's like, if I don't celebrate it, then I don't actually think that I've done it. Like if I don't bother to mark the time, like I'll go, oh, that was really good that I've done that. Then I've just be like, oh no, I never get time right, even though I do a lot of things where I get time right.
So are you going to allow yourself to feel that joy right now?
Oh yeah, I already was. Feels a
Yay. Tingly?
mm,
Beautiful. Beautiful. Which is why, because you have the mastery around time, is why you get to teach it. So that whole spiral that you were talking about, you get to let go of.
it's funny when you're like, I'm in the space where I'm striving for the best version of myself, and like constantly challenging myself, constantly growing, because I love it, right? I thrive off it and it makes me feel really good. Um, and I know that what I do can help serve others so well, but I forget how far I've come sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
great. So I wonder how you could implement celebration of time regularly into your life.
Yeah. I'm feeling like a bit of a like, yes, every time I get a task done would be fun. Plus the,
Yay!
plus the kids, I can get the kids involved in that too. Like, yes, we've done it. Team.
Yeah, yeah. So if they're in charge of cleaning this and this one's over here. When everyone's done, you're like, yeah.
Yeah. I do that sometimes with the kids. So I get to like really do it more so that they can learn at the same time as I am, of like how good they are at time, and how good like, you know what I mean? Like as I learn how good I am at time.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So,
I've been waking up the last few days, and it's just been like joy, and then I'm like wake up and I'm so excited and then I'm excited that I'm that excited just on waking up. It's like it's beautiful.
I would love some of that. I do
Well,
not.
normally, yeah, well, normally I consciously choose, like, right? I wake up and I go, okay, what am I grateful for? Like, I've been doing that practice for a long time. And now I'm like waking up and I'm like, oh, it's cool. So
So,
now I
like,
get to celebrate my time achievements so I can feel like that all the time.
how beautiful that you see that practicing gratitude has led you to embodying it as you wake up in the morning. So then as you practice celebrating time, you'll get to embody that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
It's
So,
funny how many times I've used the word time.
yes. I'm wondering, okay, because there are two sides of the time thing that you were talking about. So digging into that a little bit more, um, when you commit to a time, what comes up in your body when that happens?
This is my thing, right? And thank you for diving deeper. This is my thing. When I commit to a time, then I have a fear around not making it happen. So
And
if I
what
commit,
happens when you don't make it happen?
then I feel bad about I make it bad about myself.
Mm.
I make myself a bad person for not doing that. And I feel like I'm letting the other person down if it's a shared time, you know? So then it almost makes me not want to commit to time because, and I've been practicing differently and committing and recognizing that there's anxiety in that. And I had the best reframe by somebody, and she said to me, it's like when you commit to something, you get given all of this energy at once. Like, here's the energy you need to complete the task. But I was like, that is the best reframe ever, because before it was like just the anxiety. Whereas now it's energy to complete the task. But I have the fear of letting somebody else down.
So, in the past 3 months, the times where you have committed and you have not been able to hold or honor your commitment, what were the other people's reactions?
They're all very understanding and like, sweet, that's fine. Let's just find another time.
Interesting. So, are you actually disappointing people?
No, I'm just disappointing myself and my word on the time. But I make up in my head that it's really bad for the other person so that I could like beat myself up. Because why not? No, why not? It's just a very real pattern in my life.
Mm,
I'm dissolving.
mm. Are there other areas of your life where you beat yourself up?
There have been in the past. There still is, but I catch myself very quickly
Mm,
because I recognize how ineffective it is
mm.
and where I get to love myself deep. I use it as a tool to where I get to love myself deeper, which obviously now I get to use around time.
Yeah. So, would you be willing to love committing and then having to recommit sometime?
Yeah. Yep. It's the having to recommit sometimes. And really, like, the crazy part is I am very good at shuffling and making things happen. So I get to actually celebrate that too. Because sometimes I get to the end of the day and I'll tell people what I've done. I'm like, I can't believe I fit all that in and still feel really good about myself and still like have made time for me throughout the process. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, what is this story about how you're bad at time?
Yeah, what is this story? I don't, yeah. It's it's about the commitment and sharing time. Where does that come from, Jess?
It's a great question.
I know you were about to ask me and I was just totally beating you. Um, do you know, I think it's because we were late so much as children. Like, and I get it because my mum was she had 4 kids and she was doing everything by herself. But there's a lot of tension around being late or not making it. So there's a lot of like stuff around holding my word around time. And intellectually, I know so much more about time, and yet that's still there, which is cool.
Right, because ultimately, like, time is an illusion, right?
It's just a concept.
Yeah.
So why do I choose to beat myself up about it? It's like a total scarcity mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, some days I wake up and I feel like it's a challenge. I'm like today is going to be a challenge. Whereas I still have remnants of when it used to be like, oh my God, how am I going to get through the whole day with all this stuff? Which is my old mindset. And now it's like, ooh, how much can I achieve today? And then being okay with not achieving it.
Yeah. And it sounds like with your own stuff and self, you're kinder. But when it has to do with shared time, you're not. So the stories that you're continuing to make up about other people, I wonder if you'd be willing to let those go.
It would be handy, wouldn't it? And it's funny because if other people need to change time on me, I'm like, sweet, no worries. Like wherever you're at is where you're at. Like, so it's weird that I have that perception of how others are.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where that's come from. And it's obviously a borrowed belief. That's not my own. So I do get to let that go.
Well, and you're extremely intuitive. So sometimes you probably, even though people are not sharing with you that they're frustrated by the time change, you might be feeling that.
Yeah.
Um, so, but again, if you're communicating the change, then that's all you can do. And their feelings are not your responsibility.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting. And it's interesting because sometimes if I've had to change time a few times, then I get so much like about having to change it again that I'll like just not commit to something, or I'll be like, do you know what I mean? Because it's like I would prefer to not feel that way. So it's also about like multiple, but then in not feeling that way, then it feels worse. Like, so it's a big cycle that I get to break. And I guess I just get to be open and say, like, this is what I'm feeling in this moment. And I just want to tell you that. And
Yes. Oh, it was so powerful because I'm a person who like values being on time. But it's been really powerful for me to have other people show up, and I'm really scared right now and I actually don't want to commit to a time with you because I know blah blah blah. And then I'm like, oh, excellent. Well, like just hearing people say that and just flat out say their truth is so powerful. And so by showing up and sharing your truth, I wonder what kind of things would ripple out by you just saying,
yeah,
like, I really want to stay committed to this time, and this is what's going on in my world right now, and I feel badly about it, or whatever.
yep, yep. Yeah, see, the times that I've had that conversation, it's been beautiful. In fact, people have encouraged me to enjoy my time. Like, so this is beautiful. It's like, it's funny how you like, I've learned in so many different aspects of life, like how just acknowledging where you are is like the best place, like just being witnessed in that. And then giving like the situation once you're witnessed to change like the energy. And I love that this is just another area that I get to up level in that space.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so when you are sharing about where you are, what then happens is that the other person gets to hear that it's not about them, right? Because
Yeah.
I think I do this. I will make up stories in my mind about what people are doing with my time. Oh, they don't care about me. They didn't want to make the time for me, blah, blah, blah. But when you
Yep.
stand in your truth and say, this is actually what's going on, it like frees me of the stories I'm making up and be like, oh, I don't want you to show up in that energy in our meeting. So please go take the time you need to do what you need to do for yourself.
Yep. Yeah. This is exciting. This is exciting. It's it's interesting for me that like in the past it's been like, oh, I don't want to share that because I don't like I don't want them to think differently of who I am. Do you know what I mean? But then it's like you said, it's the stories that they make up that's what's going to make them decide. Because like we love, like humans love stories. Like I make stories up about all sorts. I make stories up like the time thing. Like I'm literally making up a story of how somebody's going to react without giving them the opportunity to react in any way, shape, or form. And then I make up the story, and then I beat myself up about the made up story that I've made up. Like it's in my head. It's crazy. So I love it. This is exciting. This is
So
exciting.
rather, so it sounds like you are already on the track of holding your commitments to the best of your ability with time. And because you have 5 children and because there are so many things out of your control, there are lots of times where you cannot necessarily hold that commitment. However, in would you be willing to commit to showing up and sharing where you are with those people when stuff comes up?
I think I think what you just said there was like I was like, oh yeah, okay, I forget. Sometimes I forget that I have like 5 children and I run 1,000 million things, and I'm like, I forget to love myself through that, and the fact that like things are going to show up in my life, like it's inevitable that things are going to shift and change. Um, and I get to be that person instead of being somebody who can like I get to be me in my life as opposed to being like, oh, I can only do this and only, and I've got to have everything like regimented. And um, there was a lot of relief when you just said like some things are out of your control, because I feel like I think that's part of what this is like the control thing. Mm,
Yeah. And
definitely.
and it would be one thing if you were creating you were living in the story of I can't be on time because of blah blah blah, but because of I know who you are and you are already doing the things to help your children be on time and doing the different things to like learn how to manage time so that they are on time and that they're not the ones that are keeping you. But at the same time, how awful would it be if your youngest is having an emotional meltdown and you're supposed to be on the phone with a client and you chose the client over your child?
Yeah.
And all of your clients are moms. So what are you showing them if you chose, right?
Oh, huge. I love this because it's like it's making me think. I just get to pre-frame that I'm a mum and I live a mum life as well. I kind of feel like the people who I follow in business are they don't necessarily have a life that's similar to mine. Like they have a lot of free space in their world that they can be like, oh, like 100%, you've got to show up for that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas you're right. I'm teaching mums, and I'm teaching mums how to be by who I'm being as well. So that just made me go, okay, this is just something I get to pre-frame with everybody I'm working with or my friends. Like my friends know already. I've said to them one time, because I was late. I usually late for everything. Like there's always something that comes up. Not anymore, but there was a lot in the past. And I said to them, like, I have a lot of endearing qualities, but like punctuality is never going to be one of them. And so you can just accept me, like just accept that that's who I am. So that was great, because then it just like everybody just knew that that was what it was going to be like, and it was a different thing. So this is exciting that I get to pre-frame that life is still going to happen. And I think the reason why is because I value so much everyone's time so much. Like I realize it's such a precious resource. And that's why I feel like that's why I'm feeling so anxious about it. Like I get anxious about wasting somebody else's time.
Yeah. And this is not to say that you become victim to time either, right? So, not that you are, but anyone who's listening in, it's not that, like, because we do have control over how we show up, when we show up, and there are a lot of things outside of your control. So, when you're pre framing, you're like, my kids are my priority. So, if X, Y, and Z happens with my children, we will have to reschedule our appointment. And if you
Yeah.
pre frame that with all of your clients, they will be like, yeah, same for me. If something going on with my kids, I'm gonna have to reschedule with you because
Yeah.
of they're my highest priority. And
Yeah.
so it's more about, because then you're not being a victim to time. It's a matter of value and like making sure that you're showing up for your highest priorities, which should be your children and yourself. And
Yeah.
if you're in a mental breakdown, how can you show up for somebody else?
Yeah.
So just honoring that space.
Yeah. It's so amazing how much it's just like acknowledging where you are and being witnessed in that, and setting intention and boundaries. Like it's crazy how it's just like that everywhere in life. For the most successful in any aspect of your life, that's what you get to do. I get to do. Um, this is exciting.
So how are you feeling right now when you think about committing to a time now?
I feel like way more peaceful about it. Yeah. I've been in the practice of like definitely making it happen, just for me to recognize that like I can be my word on my time. And then I do get to love the part, like I do get to love myself when I can't, for
Yeah,
whatever reason that is. Yeah.
without bringing shame and guilt and judgment, because that doesn't serve anybody.
No, no, it doesn't. It's funny how much conditioning there is around time. I mean, it makes sense. Everyone's got the same amount. And I've been working very much on, like, one thing I teach is that, like, money and time is a concept, right? So if you're not spending any money on yourself, then you feel really poor. Like if you're spending it on everybody else and not yourself, or you don't have any, like you feel really poor. And it's the same thing with time. So I have been definitely working on creating pockets of space for myself, like time for myself. Um, and then sometimes I get so inspired by the work that I do that I kind of just do one after another, because it makes me feel like I'm really making a difference in people's lives. And I forget that I need to up level my own time as like that needs to be a priority as well.
Gets to be.
Yeah. Ooh, gets to be. I am very good at my self-care game.
Yes, yes, you are.
But great language pick up there for me, Jess.
I learn from the best. Beautiful. Okay, well, I think we're coming to a close here online. How are you feeling?
I feel really good. I'm excited. I'm
Good.
excited about applying all the tools to the new and celebrating.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
yeah. So anybody who has watched this or is watching the replay, let us know in the comments what you feel about time and how this applies to your world. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I go live every week giving coaching, free coaching. So if you are interested in free coaching and are willing to go live with me, I would love to connect with you. Send me a message.
Yay! And you get to feel really good and have actionable steps moving forward. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jess. I
you're
appreciate you.
welcome. Bye, Facebook world.